man, I'm out of coffee. Hello, vinyl community, music community, and people of the world. All right, so this one's going to be kind of epic. Between Discogs, including a little bit of VCLT, Amazon, and FYE, I have some good albums to show you. Yeah, I've had some great deals, great deals. So we'll start off with Discogs, which it was a blind buy. Basically, I was just wanting to support a fellow VC member in his new Discogs catalog, I guess you could say. So he's putting up a number of items from his collection for sale. And first of all, that is the one and only Rob Clark. So shout out to you, Mr. Rob Clark. And we miss your videos, definitely. YOLO Vox. Yeah, but yes, he put up a number of items on his Discogs page, and I snapped up the cheapest one, the cheapest one I could find. But it also looked very interesting because he has some some pricey ones that are collectible, basically, in very good condition. This was one of the cheaper ones, probably because it's a band that isn't well known, at least not by me. But it is Super System, and this is Always Never Again. And this is actually their first album under the name Super System previously, and I think they had several albums previous to this. They were under the band name El Guapo, and they changed the name because they hated the name El Guapo. So, plus they added a new drummer with this album, apparently. So yeah, so the blind buy for me. I did hear snippets online, just enough to know that I would like it. And basically it's dance pop, dance rock, dance punk, kind of a blend of those genres. What I heard was very, very frantic, and so it's a very, very upbeat album. Yeah. So I was pleased to pick this up on the cheap from Rob and try something new. So a little blind buy for me there. And Rob knows I'm a huge Jane Sibrey fan. And he was very, very generous to send me one of Jane's albums. And also a lyric or poster insert from another album. First of all, the insert is from The Speckless Sky. Rob, very, very kind of you to send this. I can complete my copy there. Thank you for that. And I believe this is her 5th album, Bound by the Beauty. And I have almost all of her albums in MP3 format, including this one, and some of her albums in CD format, cassette. I do have several vinyl, or yeah, several. And he was very kind to send me this one. So this is Bound by the Beauty. Just a very, very unique voice. My favorite female singer. She's considered alternative pop, alternative alternative rock, college rock, but those terms are actually, they don't fully represent her variety of sounds. She does like singer songwriter stuff. She does almost experimental music, like almost like performance art. In some cases, I compare her to Laurie Anderson. I highly recommend her. An amazing voice. And every time I show anything by Jane Sibrey, I mention that most people have at least heard her song on the Crow soundtrack. It Won't Rain All the Time, I believe. I need to listen to that song again. It's been a long time. But Rob, thank you so much. Wow, very generous of you to send those. So thank you for that. Got all over the VC. And he always keeps me in mind when he's thinking of Jane Sibrey. So I appreciate that, because I easily hands down my favorite female singer. So from Amazon, yeah, some great deals, including this one. Oh, man. What can you say? Elliott Smith, Either Or. Certainly one of his best albums. I consider him like a modern day Nick Drake. Basically sadcore. And Nick Drake was doing sadcore before it existed. Yeah. This one's still sealed. Haven't opened it yet. But yeah, it's sadcore, lo-fi, indie rock, indie pop. And sadly, he died in 2003. And it's suspected that, well, it's thought that he killed himself, but there are elements of his apparent suicide that kind of make some people think it was actually homicide. But basically, he died of 2 stab wounds to the chest. Again, supposedly self-inflicted. And Nick Drake is kind of a similar situation. He also killed himself, either intentionally or accidentally, from a drug overdose when he was quite young as well. Both people are kind of typical of a lot of artists, unfortunately. Many artists suffer from depression, anxiety, that sort of thing, and yeah. But thrilled to pick this up. It was an amazing deal. I was doing deep digging on Amazon, and I did not hesitate to pull the trigger on that. That was just wow. All right. Now, this is not supposed to be one of his better albums, but I was thrilled to pick this up on the cheap. His most recent album, actually, Neil Young and A Promise of the Real, and it's The Visitor from 2017. Again, not supposed to be very good. It's classified as hard rock, so yeah. you know, some of his stuff with Crazy Horse, obviously that was kind of hard rock. But I think a lot of people prefer his more folky music. But hey, the price was right. I will give it a chance, and I love Neil Young, so I think I'm gonna enjoy it. And this one, I was thrilled to pick up. Again, on the cheap. They were a nominee for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And of course, you know, it doesn't really mean anything, but, you know, people have questioned the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But I still, you know, am glad that they were nominated. They didn't win, but the Zombies, and this is an album that has been shown frequently in the VC. Odyssey and Oracle, just mind-blowingly good. I kind of liken it to Iron Butterfly. There's probably some examples that would be closer to the sound of this, but I kind of liken it to Iron Butterfly, which is a huge compliment because Iron Butterfly is one of my favorite bands. So, thrilled to pick this up. Oh, yeah, it was like $10 on Amazon. Now, admittedly, it's not heavyweight vinyl. The packaging, it feels like a cheap repress, actually, but it sounded great. So, fantastic album. And now I've mentioned I work at the library, and our library branch happens to be in a mall. So, and we're sort of fortunate enough to have not one but two record stores in our mall. Now, one of them is just ridiculous. The prices on the used vinyl are completely outrageous. I would pay nowhere near that for what they're selling. Some of the stuff is stuff you typically find at Goodwill, and they're charging like $10 for them. It's like, really? Come on. I almost pulled the trigger on a cassette there, but even it was $3, and I was like, I don't want to pay $3 for a tape. So the owners are nice. They come into our library all the time and hang out and do their work using our Wi-Fi and stuff like that. But yeah, their prices need to come down. Yeah, but there's also an FYE, and for the most part, FYE, it suffers from the sort of what I'll call the Barnes and Noble effect, where they typically overcharge for their media, whether it's DVDs, CDs, or especially their vinyl. Their vinyl is almost always overpriced. There's been a few exceptions, but not many. And usually it's very similar at FYE, which stands for your entertainment, I believe. Yes. And I mean, it's a miracle that a store like that even exists anymore. You know, like your Sam Goodies and Music Plus and all those, they died out long ago. But here's this FYE just hanging on, but they're not strictly music. You know, they have other like DVDs and Blu-rays and other entertainment items and stuff like that. But I figured, you know, I was on my break. I hightailed it back to the vinyl section. because I knew they had a clearance section, and even the clearance section would typically bring the prices down to a reasonable level. So I figured, oh, I'll have a flip through there and, you know, see if I can find a decent deal. Well, their clearance items had been marked down even more. So I could have easily walked out with probably about 10 records. They had a bunch that were priced around the $10 mark. So that's what I picked up. And these are ones that, well, one of them is, or was actually on my wish list. The other two are ones I just never expected to find in the clearance section. So we'll start with this one first. And a little shout out to Mr. Scott Waters with some Prong. This is Ruining Lives from, I don't see the copyright on here. Anyway, it's one of their later albums, I guess you would say. And this was after they transitioned away from thrash and hardcore into more alternative metal. So not necessarily Scott's cup of tea, but it is metal. And I was thrilled to pick this up. So very, very cool. I do love alternative metal. I went through a phase where it was almost all I listened to. Yeah. So thrilled to pick this up. Again, it was like $10. I did listen to it, and it's a good album. It's a good album. They do also, I forgot to mention, they do also have some industrial elements, although I wouldn't call it industrial music, but a good album, but you know, I half wish that I had put this back and picked up one of the other ones that I passed on, but anyway, you know, live and learn. But I am trying to add more metal to my collection, because I don't have enough metal in my collection to fully represent my interest in metal, because I am actually quite interested in metal. Alright, now this one, first of all, beautiful, beautiful album artwork. Absolutely beautiful. And you may be wondering who it is, and it doesn't even say on the spine. But it is the Chris Robinson Brotherhood. This is not considered one of their better albums. And when I make these statements, I'm basing it on allmusic.com. Which isn't entirely fair, because some of their ratings are off, shall we say. Fans, like on people that have bought this on Amazon, they like it. So I was thrilled to pick it up. I do love the Black Crowes, and I was aware of the Chris Robinson Brotherhood, although I hadn't really listened to much by them. I've listened to the first disc on this, and the first song, I was like, oh my gosh, what did I buy? It just really threw me for a loop and was not at all what I expected. It had just some weird elements and instrumentation to it, and I don't even know what I would classify that track as, but the rest of that first disc was great. I haven't listened to the second disc yet, but the artwork on this is just stunning. Absolutely stunning. Yeah. And it is on orange vinyl. I won't actually take it out because it's just orange. Oh yeah, it does have a download code. More beautiful artwork. Yeah, so I'm glad I picked this one up. Oh yeah, I think this one. I don't think there was any mention of this on the packaging. And I'm a little confused by it, actually. But it included this, a 7-inch. On it, it just says Silver Arrow Records. On one side is Star-Crossed Lonely Sailor, and on the other side is Humboldt Wind Chimes. So I assume those are like 2 bonus tracks of the Chris Robinson Brotherhood. But then, I mean, is it called Seeds, or or is it actually like a band that they threw in there named Seeds? I don't know. I guess I'll find out when I listen to it, right? I need to finish listening to this album, but yes. So there you have that. Again, thrilled to pick it up. And after that first track, it got a lot better, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is more like blues rock, that sort of thing. Oh yeah. Now this has been on my wish list since I heard it was coming out, and it was typically going for a fair amount. I want to say in the $25 to $35 range, and so I waited and waited and waited for it to come down, and it never came down. Well, it's just at a guess, is probably closer to 20 now. But I picked it up for 10, so wow. And again, this has been on my wish list for quite some time. And this one is indie rock, neo-prog, neo-psychedelia. Finally. The Claypool Lenin Delirium. Monolith of Phobos. Very, very cool. Very cool. So yes, it has Sean Lennon and Les Claypool, the latter of which is most known for Primus, the singer and bass player for Primus. So I am thrilled about this one. Oh man. I don't know if they're all different labels. Yeah, they apparently they are. Let's focus. It's kind of dark too, but you get the idea. And it is on orange. What is that? Granite? Marble, not granite. Granite would be little spots. Orange marble. Yes. Very cool. And let's look at the other one. The face there. You can see that. And the planet Saturn. Yeah, so thrilled to pick this up. And I don't know that he consistently watches my videos, but I do have to give a shout out to Thump Finger. I know he doesn't regularly do videos anymore, but a long time ago he had shown that album, and it reminded me that I had wanted it, and so I put it on my wish list, and now finally I have it. So shout out to you, sir. And I realize I'm out of focus again, but yeah, so shout out to you, Thump Finger, and he's a bass player, and so you know he of course has interest in Les Claypool, and he likes funk and that kind of thing, and he has some fun videos, so definitely check out his channel. Again, I don't know how active he is, but I haven't seen a video by him in a long time, so yeah. Anyway, wow. Some great deals there. Very, very happy. I have a ton of music to listen to this weekend, and I think I'm going to get started on that, actually. All right, anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.